You believe in what you sell and you know that it's worth the price. So why do you feel resistance every time that a money conversation comes up? When you go to close, handle an objection, or ask for the sale? Or maybe you don't believe in your offer. And in that case, you need to get on a new offer or do a better job of selling yourself on your offer, because we can't sell what we don't believe in. No matter how hard we try, no matter how many scripts that we memorize, prospect will always feel that, and you'll have this internal resistance that will slowly erode you over time. But let's say that you do believe in your offer and it's a fair price. Where's that resistance coming from? It's probably coming from the fact that there's actually 2 sales reps on every one of your calls. One of them is you. One of them was programmed in at a young age to help keep you safe. Now, the version of you that shows up most of the time, that does great discovery, builds great rapport, is confident, calm, collected, great listener, that version's there. That version gets through the call, and then when the money question comes up, the time to close, then the other rep comes out and the resistance bubbles up. Maybe your throat tightens. Maybe anxiety bubbles up your chest. You start to stutter, or maybe it just looks like rushing through the close. Maybe it looks like avoiding it altogether. Could show up in a lot of different ways. The fact is, it's not helpful, and it tanks a lot of deals. Now, maybe it's not tanking a lot of deals for you. Maybe you're really good at repressing and ignoring this part, and the prospect doesn't notice, and they close anyway. So on the surface, everything looks fine, right? The problem is that repression takes a huge amount of energy. If every call that you're getting on, you're feeling this resistance bubble up and you're just pushing it down and ignoring it, not only is it just going to get louder and louder over time, but every call that you do that, you're wasting valuable energy that you could be using somewhere else. Whether that's outside of your career, on hobbies, with family, friends, with your kids. That's valuable energy wasted, and it's the quickest way to burnout is by ignoring this other part of us. So what is this thing running underneath the surface? This is the shadow rep. This was installed at a young age, typically before 8 years old, as a way to keep you safe in danger, as a way to keep you a part of the tribe, as a way to keep you connected to people, as a way to keep you loved. And it worked. Back then, it was necessary for us to be able to acclimate to the world that we were coming into. And so this is not a negative side of us, but the way it's showing up now is not helpful at all. It's not conducive to our goals. It doesn't help us pay the bills, put food on the table, take care of our family. And so the goal here is not to completely eliminate, and like I mentioned before, ignore or repress. The goal is to integrate and to rewire this program so that way it becomes something that's helpful for us. That way when we get on a call, we're not fighting against this second rep that's trying to derail things because it thinks it's in danger. It's actually helping us stay more present, more connected, and close more deals. This shadow rep is tricky, and until it gets addressed in the right way and worked with in the right way, everything that you do inside and outside of sales is going to be harder. Anytime this resistance bubbles up, anytime the constriction of the throat and the chest, anytime you spend too long ruminating and worrying about what you said here, what you didn't say there, all of that is just sucking your life force away. And the problem that we have as sales reps is that our sales training doesn't talk about this. They give us all the tools and the frameworks and processes that we need, all the external stuff, but they leave the internal stuff up for us to figure out on our own. Now, eventually, they'll figure out that if they provide this type of training to their reps, it'll be profitable for everybody. But until that happens, it's up to you. And so if you're curious about what your shadow rep looks like, the first step that you can take is to just start tracking this. Start being aware on these calls that you're in. Anytime that you start to feel this resistance, anytime that you start to over-explain or people please, or you try to avoid closing or talking about money, or you get really nervous when objections come up, those are hints. Those are the doorways. Start tracking those. What were you doing when it happened? What did the feeling feel like? What's going through your head? How did you react in the moment? If you want some help exposing this shadow rep, I built a free tool. I'll link it below. It's a real quick process. It'll probably just take you a few minutes. You'll be able to see exactly what patterns are running underneath the surface and start connecting the dots. Because we can't rewire what we can't see. The first step has got to be awareness. So you build the awareness first, and then you take very specific actions to rewire things. So that way this thing is helpful for us, and we can start to sell with a lot more ease. We can make more money working less hours. We have more time and energy for our family and for the things outside of work, the stuff that really matters. So let me know what you think in the comments. Would love to hear what comes up for you with it. Peace.